Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but I am back, and this is part 3 in what is a mini series that covers the planning for my new model railway layout. And the model railway layout is Ravenstonedale, and it's a double O gauge model railway that I'm just obviously starting to plan. I've had the first 2 parts, with the last part, or the last video that came out at the start of 2025. So as I said, it has been a while. But I'd like to start by thanking all of the subscribers that have stuck by me for the last 12 months or so. A few have dwindled away, but the majority have stood by and waited, I guess, for part 3, which is probably the part 3 that you're not expecting. But we'll crack on, and we shall just start by giving you a brief sort of update of what I've been getting up to for the past year, and I guess why I haven't been publishing videos and so on. So really, yes, why a picture of a shed? Well, I started, I think it was early last summer, putting together a base and building the shed and so on. And you might be thinking, has he gone and put the railway in the shed? Well, the answer to that is a definite no. I'm purely built it to sort of double the size of the old shed and get a lot of the stuff that was preventing me from building the layout in the room, in the actual room where it is, out of that room and into the shed. And so that's sort of got one problem out of the way. The other reason why I sort of ground to a halt with the layout was my other passion, and that's kart racing. So I'm actually an official at a couple of national series that basically cover the length and breadth of the UK. So from sort of March to September, this takes up every other weekend. And then the weekend that I have got off, I'm doing other things, either DIY or getting out and visiting the railway up on the SettleCarlisle and so on. But yeah, also found time for a few holidays and a few beers along the way. So on the railway front, as I said, try to get up to the SettleCarlisle railway on the weekends that I have off, and try and pick the days or weekends when there's some nice weather. But again, it's not been that many times that we have got up in the last 12 months or so. But when we have, we've tried to and gone to Hellifield and seen some of the steam trains come through, and then we've normally ended up then at a pub having a nice Sunday lunch, a nice roast with some Yorkies, and yeah, had a nice day out. And yeah, not been idle on the expansion of the locomotive fleet. So since the last video, I've purchased 6 locos, some second hand. I think there's a couple new, and I've added the one and only diesel, which I'll explain at a later date. But yeah, been expanding the fleet and also been purchasing lots of goods wagons and some coaches as well. So yeah, wow, let's go back to January 2025 when I published the last video, and let's have a refresher of what was in that video. So the plan was to produce a layout with a as prototypical as possible representation of the Ravenstonedale station, and that's a station on the or what was the Stainmore Railway. And basically I'd done quite a lot of planning and research, and was ready to get going in January of last year with the next stage of the plans, which was producing the baseboards, but that unfortunately didn't come to pass. And this was the last track plan that I pulled together and showed in the, I think it was the January video. And I think quite soon after producing the video, I realised that it wasn't really going to work for me in terms of the section that you see in the middle with the fiddle yard. It was just going to be too big and cumbersome to manhandle and fit into place. And other things started to bother me, like the pull-out modelling desk, the viaduct to the left-hand side over here, taking up too much space, and so on and so on. And the fact that I had all this storage shelving and the fridge didn't enable me to put the layout around the room. So yeah, there were lots to ponder, and in the end, I didn't proceed with this track plan. So a change of direction, quite common for myself. For those who've watched my videos over the years, I do change my mind a lot, but I have actually thought this through at length. I've had over 12 months to do that, and I'm in a good place with the plans that I've now pulled together, which I'll share with you. So why the change in direction? So I did assess after January what I did want from the new layout, and other plans that I was or the plans I had together were really what I wanted to pursue, and the answer to that was a definite no. And that led me to basically make the decision not to continue with the Stainmore Railway layout plans. So that came to a grinding halt. And my interest, I suppose it never really left, but it shifted back to creating a SettleCarlisle layout. And basically I thought to myself, I've pondered for this for quite some while. I just want to keep it simple, and I want to crack on and get an operational layout pulled together as soon as possible. I just wanted to run the trains that I've been buying for the past couple of years, just basically stuck in boxes. I've got all the rolling stock as well, and it's just all stuck there, and I just want to get it running, and I don't want to be spending months and months and months pulling together the track, the lane of the track, and putting in point motors and so on and so on. I just want to keep it really simple and just get cracking with it as soon as possible. And then I can just concentrate on what I enjoy doing the most, and that's the scenery. So it sort of, for me, it sort of took it back to a point where it all sort of started off what I wanted to do in the first place, and that was with my Engage Westmoreland layout. And for those who haven't seen the layout or seen the earlier videos, this is where it all sort of started. It was a relatively simple track plan before I moved over to a more complicated sort of reproduction of the Hellifield station, which never got finished. So just a simple station, SettleCarlisle station with a goods yard, and that's basically all I'm looking for with the new layout. So in terms of the layout itself, as I said, it's on the SettleCarlisle line, It's going to be a fictitious location, and the sort of the area that I've selected is around sort of the Kirby Stephen, Garsdale, Dent area, around about the Aysgill summit for those of you who know the area. So that's a really nice scenic part of the SettleCarlisle line in the Eden Valley area. And as I say, it's fictitious, and I'm going to stick with the Ravenstonedale name for the layout. I've got the metal sign all made up previously, so another reason for not changing. But yeah, I like the name, and that's what we're going to stick with. So in terms of the scenic plans, my aim now is to create a layout that gives, as I say, an unmistakable look and feel of the SettleCarlisle Railway, hopefully similar to what I did with my Westmoreland layout previously. The scenery will be set in the summer of the 1950s-60s, so it's right in the steam era. And as I've alluded to before, my inspiration comes from both present day buildings and scenic areas. I like to go and photograph areas and try and model the scenery based upon what I see and photograph, but also using period reference material as well for the various scenic locations. So in my plan, I've got lots of features and locations that I want to include. So kicking those off with the station. So I want to base it on the Dent station, which you'll see in a while why Dent and why it's that station that I've selected. Also looking to have a station master's house, not necessarily modelled on Dent, but I like the way the station master's house at Dent is positioned behind the station, sort of higher up on a hill, and you'll see my plans what I intend to do there later on in the video. Want to include a water tower and also the water cranes, so the locals can stop off and top up with water. I want to include a signal box, I guess similar to, as I say, similar to the Settle station at signal box. Also want to include a goods shed on the layout, as well as a cattle dock. So this is basically what's left at Horton on Ravenstonedale station. Not much to see there now, only a sort of a stone platform, but that's what it used to look like. So you had the cattle pens on top of the stone platform, so hoping to replicate something of that nature on the layout. Looking to include a tunnel with a tunnel tops scene, a nice scenic tunnel top, and also looking to probably add a farm like the yew tree farm that again I had on the previous Engage layouts, so certainly looking to include something like that. Also want to have some raised embankments, or a raised embankment with a cattle creep. There's quite a number of these that I've spotted on the SettleCarlisle, so I want to get at least one of those on there to give that feel. And then it won't be the SettleCarlisle Railway without some barn, or a barn, and obviously lots of dry stone walls, as many as I can fit in on the layout. And just to pack it all in, I want to pack in a viaduct, namely the Aysgill viaduct. Now, I attempted this on the last layout, my Engage layout, and never got to finish it. I really want to include the viaduct on the new layout. And finally, again, I had something like this on the previous layout. I was tempted, and I'm still in two minds, I guess, whether to go with just a non-scenic fiddle yard. But as I said earlier, my main passion with the railways is on the model railway layout is doing the scenery, and I really want to see another scenic section, and I really like the way the A's Gill part of the layout or part of the railway used to work, with a couple of passing loops, the signal box, and even the the bridge in the background. That'd be something to hopefully include. So, how am I going to fit all of this into what's basically an 8 foot 9 inches or 2.7 meter square room? Probably with quite some difficulty. But what I'm looking to do is, this will be on baseboard 1, and this is the first baseboard that I'm going to start work on, is have the station and the goods yard with a head shunt, so I can work the goods yard independently when I've got a couple of trains running on the loop. I've moved my modelling desk under the window, and this is where I'll also operate the layout from. And then I'm going to have a second baseboard which will be fixed to the walls like the first baseboard, and under this baseboard will be an under-counter fridge and freezer, which we've now got. So the tall fridge freezer's gone. That broke down, and I replaced it with some under-counter ones. So I'm able to now go the full circuit round the room, and then above that I've got some storage shelves. So I am a little bit potentially restricted as to how far I can come out from the wall, but I think I can certainly go with what I've got here with the four tracks, and this will be the A's Gill passing loop section, and then baseboard 3, which will be in the future, will be the A's Gill viaduct. I will probably start off with this section and this section being non-scenic to start off with, and there'll just be a couple of simple bridge sections to connect the two main baseboards together. So that's the outline for the new plan. As I said, I want to keep it simple, so I'm going to be going with Pico Code 100 track. So I was going to go with the Code 75 bullhead, sort of twice the price, and to be fair, I'm not big into, I suppose, the track detail. It's more the scenery, as I said before. So I already had quite a bit of Code 100, which I'd sort of initially bought for testing, and I'm also going to go with Insel Frog points. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's what I'm going to go with, and I'm also going to have manually operated points, so I'm not bothering with point motors. I'm literally sitting in this area here, and I'm going to quite comfortably change these points over without actually moving very much. And to be fair, most of my running sounds quite boring, but most of my running will just be sitting back with a brew or a beer and watching the trains run on the double track loop. And if I feel the need, I'm going to have a further single controller to do some shunting or work in the goods yard. So that's going to be the basic plan. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I want to get up and running as quickly as possible, and I think the Hornby Scaledale East models are as good a place to start as any, and these are really good models. So these that you see here, I've already purchased. I got them in a a job lot off eBay. So we've got the Dent station, we've got the Dent waiting room, we've got a water tower, signal box, which is nigh on the same as the Settle station. We've got a matching goods shed, and I also added to those 5 items that I got as a job lot on eBay, a bridge, which will be added onto the layout as a scenic break. So these should all save me time in producing my own scratch built buildings. They will be weathered, they will be modified, I'll add details, so they're not going to look sort of straight out the box. And then this is what I'm hoping it will all sort of look like. So this is my representation. So lots of trees, lots of greenery. I know there's appears to be quite a bit of track, but I'm hoping to surround that by, as I say, lots of scenery and trees, and hopefully it'll all blend together and give a good representation of the Settle and Carlisle railway. So lots of the Hornby buildings. You can see I've got the station master's house up on this upper level. We've got the signal box down at the lower level, and that will be surrounded by the retaining walls. We've got the Cow Creek culvert I'm hoping to build in, so that should give some good views, some opportunities for some photographs, because it'll be obviously a lower level up to a upper level embankment. We've got the station, which will take up to 4 Mark 1 coaches, so it's quite a sizable platforms at just over 1 metre long each. We've got the goods yard with the goods shed, coal, a yard crane, and a cattle dock. And then up in the top right, we've got the tunnel top with the farm, a barn, and hopefully some good scenery up there. And then bottom right will be where the viaduct, the Aysgill viaduct, will be, if we can get it to fit in. Lots of ifs, but on paper or on here it looks like it will work. So baseboard construction. So you'll be pleased to hear I have actually started or got some way with that for baseboard 1. So I bought quite a lot of 38 by 63 CLS timber. So this is quite cheap. I think it's something like £3, £4 for 2.4 metre lengths. So probably overkill for the job, but so I bought quite a substantial amount, had that delivered, and then I've got all this attached to the wall and use these corner brackets to pull it all together. And then basically I had then fitted to the tops with 9mm ply, and then I topped the whole baseboards off with 4mm cork, and the plan is to that will keep the noise down by putting it on all of the boards. And then at the front of the baseboard, you can just see here I've got some legs to prevent the baseboards from dropping, and these have got some adjustable feet, so I can level up the baseboards accordingly. And then moving on to the next bit. This is literally where I'm up to as of today. So I've started just laying out the buildings and the track in line with the plan, and just seeing how that looks. I'm I'm pretty happy with how it looks, but the plan is in the next video, which I'm not going to make promises, but hopefully it will be soon. The karting season started, and I've got another big project in the garden, so I've got a summer house to build, but I'm trying to use some of the summer nights in the week after work to crack on with this. But in the next video, I'll sort of give you a in-room lowdown of what I'm planning, and then hopefully I will or you will pass comment and come up with any ideas, etc. And if you've got any ideas from today's video, not my usual type, I normally like to be behind the camera, or in front of the camera, should I say, but I just thought this was probably the quickest and best way to get a video out. I was conscious it was so long since the last one in January 2025. So yeah, that'll be the next video. So I'm going to stop waffling. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please like, share. If you're not a subscriber, please come along for the journey. We're just starting off. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll see that I do like to get stuck into the scenery, and this is what I'm hoping to carry on and do in double O gauge. So that should have some challenges in itself. So I'm going to leave it there. Please, as I said, leave some comments, what you think of it so far, and I'll do my best to respond in the coming days and weeks. Okay, so see you soon, and happy modelling. Cheers, bye.